Halloween
Forever.
Guys, do you know who always has a date for Valentine's Day?
Who?
A calendar. Welcome, boys and ghouls, to an extra romantic episode of Halloween is Forever. I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm Steve.
Boy, yeah, I pulled that one out just last second. And it
That's
did
top quality.
not
I'm actually
land.
I still have a level of appreciation for it, you know?
Yeah, well, it's not my best work, but you know what? Valentine's Day, not the best holiday. I would go as far as to say it's the fucking worst.
Agreed.
It's a terrible holiday. Shouldn't exist.
Is there a worse holiday? Columbus
St.
Day?
Patrick's
Easter,
Day kind
maybe?
of blows.
I don't know.
But at least there's beer drinking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of beer drinking St. Patrick's Day. That's fine. But otherwise, it's just, just people acting like fucking insane
I'm not
morons.
one to celebrate the Irish, so
Filthy, illiterate buggers.
Hey, guys.
My wife's family is very
I
Irish.
was like,
and
so is mine.
Yeah, my wife's has the most Irish maiden name of all time, and I still constantly refer to them as filthy Irish, filthy illiterate Irish locusts, and I'm also significant amount Irish as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, St. Patrick's Day is just an excuse for bros to fight each other in the street and pretend Jewish food is Irish. What else? What other shitty holidays are there?
I mean, I don't really give a shit about Easter, and there's not really much. I mean, I'm not
That's
religious.
That's true.
And
You know what, though? Ham's involved, so I'm in on
there's
Easter.
ham and candy again.
Yeah,
so.
ham and
I
candy.
know, you and your ham, you're making ham salad all the time,
dude,
too, man.
I fucking love ham. Ham and candy. I mean, I'm sad I could live on that. Beer, ham, and candy. I'm just going to get one of those, shirts
gross.
that says, beer and ham and candy. I don't even know where the
No one
origin...
will even understand it. You're like, you don't have to.
I think
It's take it
This
at
is for
face
me.
value. It's exactly what it says.
that might be the next series on our TeePublic store. We'll each have our own list.
Yeah, beer and ham and candy and
Right.
weed.
Yeah.
Mine will have herring on it or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Herring, not wearing my glasses, Bruce.
Not wearing my glasses, being a peckerhead. But boys and ghouls, whether we like it or not, Valentine's Day is upon us today, this very day that this minisode is releasing is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So, it seems like we've been doing it for nigh on 10 to 12 years now, but we are still a fledgling podcast. We haven't even completed a full calendar year, not even close at this point. And I feel like it's a rite of passage. Every horror podcast, if you release an episode anywhere near Valentine's Day, you got to do My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
It's
you
a
have
rite of
to. This
passage.
is
It's a
our
rite of
candy
passage.
heart to all of you.
Yeah. And listen, although I do not dislike the remake, frankly, it's not good, but it's not bad either. We are doing the original 1981 as a token of good faith from our illustrious leader and two-time champ Meg. She could have done anything to us this time around, but she gave us My Bloody Valentine, which I frankly really enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really good.
It's. I think we're all in agreement on that. But
I feel like watching it this time around, I told you guys that I just saw Scream this week, and part of it is they go through all the slasher rules and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I kept laughing to myself throughout this entire film. I'm like, no, don't never say goodbye. Never see I'll be right back. I'm like, that's the I'll be right back comment, or just all the tropes and stuff like
this
that,
has
which is
every
great.
one of them because this is
Yeah.
only a few years
This is
after
fun.
Halloween, so it's got the POV cam.
Yeah.
It's got everything. It's got the I'll be right back.
The breathing,
Yes.
even
The heavy breathing.
Thing.
It's got all of it. But coincidentally, one of our wonderful friends and social media friends and followers, Brett Dranowski, actually specifically requested this before you decided to do it.
nice.
So you and Brett are simpatico.
Yeah, exactly.
But we also we got a lot of really good suggestions, and we'll talk about them here in the coming episodes because this week we are actually going to spin our goddamn wheel again already, which is hard to believe, but it's time to spin that wheel once again. And we've actually added some suggestions from some folks. Ricky, I want to apologize. We're trying to figure out exactly how to spell your last name. I said Cahill.
Yeah.
It could be Coghill.
Could be.
Ricky, tell us which one it is.
Could be Caulfield.
Yeah, we only know each other via the internet, so please clarify.
Send us a voice message.
Yes, please clarify, because we do not know exactly how to say it. We were debating before we jumped on here. Friends over at Horror Flicks and Guitar Picks had a fun suggestion, actually about a wraparound. Which this is actually really, really funny because I posted something about how they're doing a live action TV series reboot is coming to Disney Plus around Goosebumps, which I'm a big. I mean, that was like my intro to horror as a kid. I was reading the Goosebumps books in a lot of ways. And he said he said something about how they should open each episode with a wraparound story about a kid going to a book fair in the 90s. And I was like, I want to do that wraparound on our show. Like we walk in and I'm like, I'm going to take that Lamborghini poster. I'm going to take those 3 Goosebumps. And yeah. Yeah, we've had a lot of really good Ben Brill, who friend of the show, who constantly subjects Jen to like fucking basket case and shit like that, which is great.
I just love that he used it as like a torture device. Yeah. I love it.
We have made her life worse, and that much is clear. And I won't apologize.
No.
What's Jen's beautiful?
Hello, Brutiful.
Hello, Brutiful. Yeah.
Jen, I do still love you.
Yeah, but we are making your life actively worse, and you know what? We're not sad about it. We had some good suggestions from Johnny Holland, who's always gives us a shout out on the interwebs, and it's Johnny Berlin 84, and I think he is from London. If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So we got a little over the pond listeners there too.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep the suggestions coming. All the suggestions you guys are giving us either are going directly into effect as minisodes or going on the old spinny wheel. Which we're
not the influencers. You're the influencer.
Right. Ooh. And that's good for that is really best case scenario for everyone involved. Without further ado, let's get in some beers first, and then we'll do our movie stuffs.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here drinking over here.
What you got?
I grabbed Aslan. Let me
You're
find their
double-fisting.
name. Yeah, I am double fisting. You know, okay, all these new
Yeah, you know what? Okay.
Yeah, you know
She
what?
just gets defensive. I was like,
Well,
you know what? Yeah.
I
You know
got
what?
a little
Okay.
frustrated there within seconds of looking at this can because I mean, I like Aslan. I've had plenty of their beers. I like them. But then I'm like thinking of all the cans and I'm like, where the fuck is a beer name? Like, what is this? No, I think it's their Mango Freeze. So it's a sour ale brewed with mango and vanilla frozen yogurt. That's interesting.
Fuck? Can I sniff it?
Yeah, there's a little bit left in here too. You can take some.
No, thank you.
You're like, no, thank you. Yeah, so it's a little fun design. It's not. I feel like some beers that like kind of have these like elements of like smoothie styles, like maybe have a little bit more body to them. Like fruit's just like very tart in it. I don't get as much body, and there's not as much vanilla as I kind of would have expected. You know what I mean?
It smells like diabetes. To me personally, so I'm gonna steer clear. But it does smell like mango.
Yeah, I double fist it with I found when I grabbed that Topo Chico's now in Pittsburgh, and I'm very excited about it. Yeah, I love that. I got their tropical mango hard seltzer, and I'm here for it. They're a little bit crispier than I think some. They're not as filling as Truly, but crispy like they are. You know what I mean?
You know, Truly, that loaf of bread in a can, Truly.
Yeah, I get really full, you know?
Is it less carbonated? Is that why, you think?
I think.
Is it gas full or is it like heaviness full?
For Truly? Yeah, Truly is always like gas full.
Okay.
Like I get really like my belly like feels really thick.
Yeah.
And this though I think has that crisp and like high carbonation that I want out of a seltzer, but it doesn't like
blow you up.
Yeah, it doesn't blow me up.
Yeah.
As you reach the bottom of both, do you think you'll make a blend?
I think it would be great, yeah, because I grabbed the tropical mango. I think it would actually be delicious.
Make a blend.
I might even fucking just start doing it all. It's like it'll be my sidecar. It'll be my sidecar. Like
I'm not going to force you to,
they literally have me chained up and forced to like drink both of these at the same time. Don't let them fool you.
I've not had the seltzer yet, but I dig just a regular and a standard Topo Chico.
Yeah.
I'll have to give them a try. You want to go next?
Sure. I have the Left Hand White Russian in Nitro. It's a white stout with coffee and vanilla added. It's obviously a Lebowski reference, and I enjoy it.
I'm always down. I feel like the white stout was like a gimmicky thing that everyone was like, okay, bye. And I was like, I kind of always like them.
So
I do
yeah,
too.
some of them are good. There's one I've had like years and years ago from Saucy out of Cleveland.
Yeah.
Called their Phobia.
Yeah.
I think that was like before it became a thing. And it was really good. It was just like a heavy oat fucking stout.
Yeah, I remember when like we first got a hint that they were a thing, and like it was for one of the Pittsburgh Craft Beer Weeks, so that's when that actually existed. What, like 5-6 years ago?
Yeah.
I think it was like me, Andy Kwiatkowski from Hitchhiker. Who else? Co-star guys like Jeff and Dom, and I feel like maybe Andy Weigel was there too. Maybe like, but yeah, we all did one, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
We called it Prospero. Like we brewed it out of Rock Bottom, and I think I really do like it. And I mean, something like that even goes like that much further.
Hitchhiker has a really good one now too. I think it's called Point of Confusion.
Okay,
it's like a 10%.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a 10% white stout, I believe. But
Yeah.
it's really good.
And for people who don't really understand what that is, because like we are probably talking about something like, what is a fucking white stout? The whole idea is that you have a blonde-ish type of beer that has elements of an actual stout. So we're talking like chocolate, roasty, coffee-esque. And typically, I mean, when I've done it, I've done a blend of like cacao and coffee to kind of create those elements in it. But they're really nice. And I think they're sometimes a little bit sweeter, so they're not as like dry and sometimes bitter that you get us out. You know, they're awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a dry or a bitter one. They're always like more creamy than anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys do? Is it like typically people I think put special roast in it, right? Isn't that like where they get some of the roast character without a lot of color, and then probably put like a little? Yeah.
You know what? I don't think we did. Like, I mean, we're talking literally like 5-6 years ago, but I don't recall us.
You don't
like,
remember the grain bill from that specific beer 6 years ago?
Where's your recipes book at? Yeah, you got it?
Bring up Beersmith. Come on.
It might be on Brewer's Friend, actually.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Andy, I was just looking this up here. Andy Weigel, so friend of ours, local brewer, former brewer, now jaded a-hole who only drinks hams.
And also is now like painting dummies.
That's what I was going to bring up. Yeah. So he does a lot of like models and stuff like that, like as a hobby. And he bought this dummy, Steve. I don't know if you saw this. So he bought this dummy head, right?
Okay.
Genuine thing.
Yeah.
Creepy.
And he's going to paint it to look like Willie from that episode of The Twilight Zone. I forget what the episode's called.
Okay.
You know, the living dummy thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And here's how far he is right now already.
It is creepy as fuck,
Isn't it?
but amazing. Amazing.
It's really impressive and very fucking creepy, and I was all about it because I love The Twilight Zone. But as soon as I think of Andy, I think of creepy dummies, painting creepy dummies.
Great.
That's
I'm glad
friend of ours.
I'm glad you clarified it a little more, because when you said he was painting dummies, I immediately went to Maniac.
Oh,
yeah.
I
like
mean,
mannequin.
I imagine he's on that path.
Okay.
Yeah. You know. Yeah.
Where eventually he will be torn apart in his bed by dummies.
By dummies. Yes.
Yeah.
I would assume so. I am drinking Vulpin by Sly Fox Brewing Company.
Ooh. That's a nice can.
Yeah, it is. They're
definitely changing their. They're almost getting. I mean, it has this like traditional art type vibe, but maybe it's mildly like Trogue-esque, but like in their own way.
Yeah. This is a little bit more, that kind of doodly kind of look compared to some of their other stuff. But this is the first time I've had this beer. This is a tropical IPA. It's kind of got that mango, peach ring type of thing, low bitterness, but it's nice. I'm drinking an IPA for the first time in a long time on the show, but I do have a Helles in the
there you go.
on deck. So
I saw this great video on Facebook earlier today, and it was basically these guys. They're like, obviously make beers that are like the moment that it gets above 40 degrees. It's like, and it says like lager brewers, and they're all just like dancing.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah.
It's funny because I drink. I mean, obviously, I'm a crispy boy. We all know this. I like a Helles and a Pils and all manner of German and Czech and Central European lager beers. But I feel like the only time I really do drink IPAs, with the exception of like when Sierra Celebration comes out, is in the summer. And also in the summer, I tend to move over towards. I mean, yes, it's still like 80% of what I drink is like those same beer styles. But I drink a lot of wit beer. too.
Oh, yeah.
And, like I'll
That's
crush
great.
some Allagash White, and
yeah.
I drink like Belgian Blonde with beer in the summertime. Probably more than in the wintertime where I'm drinking almost exclusively lager beers.
Yeah.
And so in
Yeah,
any
you get
case,
that spritzy fruit thing going on. You like add a little like lemon or orange slice. I don't know if that's like sacrilegious to you.
no, I know. So I worked for Miller Coors for so long that I drank blue. Like we always talk about beers that you kind of wear yourself out on, like Pilsner Kel. I'll drink that beer forever until I die. I love it. It's my favorite beer in the world. But Blue Moon, when I left Miller Coors, for those of you who don't know, Miller Coors, Blue Moon is owned by Miller Coors. It was like if I ever have another Blue Moon, it'll be too soon kind of thing. It's not that it's a bad beer. I just I wore myself out on it,
Guys, he's wearing a Blue Moon shirt underneath his
I have
hoodie.
a Blue Moon tattoo. No, I'm just kidding. But I worked for them.
He went deep.
Yeah.
He went deep.
I worked for them for a long time. It's fine beer. They're good people. But I'm just saying, I don't think I'll ever willingly drink another Blue Moon again. So when I think about the orange wedge or like a citrus wedge on a beer, it immediately thinks of like Blue Moon. And I've just seen so many like, bartenders grab like these grimy looking orange wedges from God knows where and throw it.
But also
in your
now
beer.
in these days, they're touching it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, this actually is a hilarious story. It's a secondhand story of when I worked at Rock Bottom. I don't think this server works there anymore, but he just was like very dense. He just was so dense though that someone asked for a lime, and instead of like putting on a napkin, sorry, so gross. Instead of like putting on a napkin or a plate, he like brought it to the table.
That's gross. I honestly, do you want to know what I thought you were going to say?
God, so bad.
Your limes.
I thought you wure going to walk up and he was just going to hand them a whole lime.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
I'm just putting myself in that shoes.
Just a bare hand.
Yeah. Just pluck a lime from a
or
bare
he puts
hand.
it in his pocket. He comes around, he's like, kept it warm in my pocket.
Or like if he had like the little apron where like he keeps it in with his pens and scratch pad.
Yeah. He pulls it out and he like pulls a couple hairs off of it and like some cocoa pebbles out of his pocket. And he puts them.
Fucking gross.
Yeah. Listen,
Oh, man, I'm
you
dead.
want to hear a really dumb front of house story from my life? When I was in high school, I worked at Bob Evans. I think we've covered this at some point. I was a server, a cook, a jack of all trades at Bob Evans. Like just
big shit.
just
What I'm
slinging,
the shit.
just slinging biscuits and gravy. Anyway, when I was training, I was really nervous, and I was doing that whole like, you've been to a restaurant and then server, bartender, whatever comes up and they're like, hey, I'm so-and-so, this is so-and-so, training them for the day, kind of thing. And everybody make a little joke about it, whatever. So I was doing that same thing. So I'm going around with this older lady who she was lovely. And I came to become friends with her, but I didn't know her at the time. She scared the hell out of me. She's from Cyprus. So she has like this really thick kind of Greek accent.
Okay.
Really loud, boisterous older lady. And she's like swinging me around the place. Like, go do this. I'm just running around trying to keep up with her. And she goes over and she goes, okay, go drop this check off on that table. And it was just like a two-top older couple. And I said, do I just give it, just give it to them? They're like, she's like, yeah. I was like 16 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yeah, put the check on their table. Tell them to come back, do the whole like, hey, thanks for coming. Hope to see you again soon.
Yeah.
But instead I walked over, put the check on the table, looked at both of them and went, come back. And then walked away. With this just, I assume, dead-eyed, weird stare at them. And they both looked at me like, what?
I feel like that's a joke like someone who works at a funeral home would say.
Yeah.
Come back. Come back.
Yeah. See you next time. When you die.
Hope you make it.
I did so many dumb things when I worked there. In any case, all right. We've got wheels to spin.
Time to the wheel.
That wheel. wheel.
Believe it or not, somebody, and forgive me, I'll look up who it was while you're doing that, because somebody suggested that we do a similar thing that we did with the John Carpenter, or I'm not John Carpenter, the Hellraiser franchise, but do it with the Leprechaun franchise for March.
I honestly probably haven't seen any more than the first
And I
one.
said that might be a fun mini-sode, actually.
It could be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one would be tough.
Yeah, because they're all shit.
Yeah, aside from maybe even the first one shit.
Oh yeah, they're all
Yeah.
they're all shit.
Yeah.
They're fun, but they're all
I genuinely was
absolute
like
shit.
scared of that. Like in
Ooh.
like
Oh, yeah.
pre-horror days,
Ooh.
that's interesting.
Oh,
What does
'cause
that
I've been
include?
fucking with some westerns lately.
Yeah.
Are we
Old
talking like
West
spaghetti?
horror.
Are we talking like spaghetti western, like horror?
I think we're just talking any horror that takes place in the Old West.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
I mean, if you're talking Tremors 4,
Yeah.
the beginning.
Okay.
If I
Was
can
it
do
in the
this-
desert almost? Is
Yeah,
that?
that
Oh,
one's
yeah.
that one's definitely in the desert because
Yeah.
that's
right.
Arizona.
Well,
yeah.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
if I listen, I'm not above this. Right now, if that one wins, I am calling Bone Tomahawk right fucking now. I love
I don't
Bone
know
Tomahawk.
that one.
Oh, it's so good. If you haven't seen
Yeah.
Bone Tomahawk, it's fantastic.
Cool.
Kurt Russell, so good. All right, so the first pick we have is Old West horror, which that has not come up yet.
No.
So psyched about that.
I went back through and I cleaned up the list to make sure we weren't going to have any kind of repeats.
Any little duplicates?
Now, here's one I'm into.
That's telekinesis, Kyle. A
Okay.
little Tenacious D reference here, and we are talking telekinesis, mind control, brain power type movies.
I mean, so they just released the trailer for that new Firestarter.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
super
yeah, I
relevant
just
with
saw
the
that
new
too. That was
Firestarter
really good.
trailer.
Yeah, I mean that's technically pyrokinesis, but
Yeah.
we can include it.
Yeah.
Thank you for being so lenient.
Yeah, I
Steve.
Should we say
you know.
if it comes up on X-Men and it's a horror film, like something that would be like a power there, then hey, it's relevant.
So here's, interesting telekinesis. There's a lot of things that we
Yeah.
have to figure out whether it's telekinesis.
What we can't do is carry.
No, we cannot do Carrie.
Right.
We've done it already. Because she will fucking do it. Meg's going to actually go online, Google telekinesis movie, and then choose a movie called telekinesis.
Meg's gonna choose the Carrie remake with Chloe Grace Moretz.
You know what? I don't like this statement right now. Just because I am your champ.
Listen, we're punching up,
Yes.
so it's okay for us.
That's right.
All
And
right,
final
so
one.
so far we have it's telekinesis, Kyle. We've got Old West horror, and we've got theater of the macabre, films
sounds
that
fun.
are set in or predominantly feature movie theaters, which
Ooh.
is very relevant, being that we just did The Last Matinee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I came up with that. That's one of mine because I fucking love movies that happen. Demons.
Are we thinking even something like Phantom of the Opera for that too? Like, or something that
I
could...
don't see why not.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I just found out Tubi is lousy with Dario Argento films.
Oh yeah, they have
so
tons of them.
I went and rewatched Opera.
Yeah.
and so yeah, so I think if any kind of theater maybe.
Yeah, pretty much all of the. I've been on a. Anybody who follows us on the social medias knows I've been on a kaiju kick lately. I've been watching, War of the Gargantuas and all the fucking Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla and Mothra and Rodan and all that stuff, and they're all on Tubi. Pretty much,
Yeah.
It's awesome. I fucking love Tubi so much. I genuinely am considering getting a Tubi tattoo. I fucking love Tubi.
Wait,
so
do you
much.
have a tattoo at all?
I have one tattoo.
Oh, okay, so yeah, I thought it would be really funny if it was like your first one.
Your first tattoo
No.
is a
I
Tubi tattoo.
only have one tattoo. I have one tattoo currently.
Yeah, I didn't realize too because like Dario Argento actually has at
First
least.
tattoo's a Tubi tattoo.
Oh
I
my-
wish. Now I wish I'm going to go back and
I
get
feel
mine
like-
removed so I can. Actually,
What-
so this is my tattoo. It's just a heart right here.
Okay.
And maybe I'll
You
just
can put Tubi in
it. Yeah. I have a big heart on my chest, and I just put Tubi inside.
Sorry, Kate.
Sorry. Well, I did. In my defense, I got this well before her and I met.
I know. I thought that was like a very emo maybe reference or something like that.
Yeah. This is from my. This
You're an
is-
elder emo
I'm
over
a
here?
big My Bloody Valentine
Okay.
fan. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
What?
That's a band, isn't My Bloody
yeah,
Valentine?
It
a
is.
little
It
band?
is.
It is,
I
yeah.
almost believed you.
No, fuck no. But no. It's completely unrelated to any individual in particular, but it is going to be dedicated to Tubi soon.
Fair enough. This space reserved for Tubi.
Yeah, that's usually the
Can you just
sticker
put
that's on it.
property of Tubi on there?
No, I'm going to put property of Tubi on my lower back.
Okay, please. Yes.
Okay,
God.
so let's recap. We are going to put it out on the social medias here in the next couple of days. We've got Old West Horror. We've got It's Telekinesis, Kyle, which is, of course, telekinesis related, mind control, whatever types of horror movies. And lastly was
Theater of the Macabre.
Theater of the Macabre. So anything, theater related, not just movie theater, but it could be, like we said, an opera or a play or something like that. Actually, all three of those are fucking kind of rad. So I'm looking forward to those. If you don't already, go follow us on the social medias. We are approaching 10,000 followers on the Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have
Are we
ways to
gonna
go.
do a
We're
giveaway or
9,000 something, 9,100 maybe.
We need to do a giveaway or anything around 10?
Yeah, we probably should do something at 10,000 followers.
Get
That's
some
a big-
people some t-shirts or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, we'll do some
something cool.
t-shirts or something cool because it is a big deal. We are at Halloween is Forever on Instagram, and then if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's at Hallow Forever.
Yeah.
At Halloween is Forever. No, it's at Halloween is Forever Pod on the TikToks. And then Halloween is Forever Podcast on Facebook and all those other various things. If you want to shoot us an email, it's halloweenisforeverpod@gmail.com as well. I haven't checked that email in a minute. Probably should.
I
Do you
hit it every
periodically?
now and then.
I think I just assume you were, and I
it's just
wasn't
like every
doing
now
it.
and then if I remember.
Yeah. So, if you want to vote on what that topic is going to be, if you want to suggest all these lovely, folks have been suggesting us topics and things of that nature, or just want to enjoy some spooky shit on the internet, then go ahead and do that. Just search Halloween is Forever on your favorite social media app. You'll find us. Okie dokie. Now, let's talk about, Meg's going to talk about My Bloody Valentine, and Steve and I are going to just chirp in with funny quips.
Whips.
Quips.
I had a teacher in high school that definitely did that in front of everything.
Cool whip.
Yeah, do you ever, kind of very Hank Hill of him. So My Bloody Valentine in 1981 is a Canadian slasher film directed by George Milhaka. I fucking hate people's names.
And wow, boy, is it Canadian. This is perhaps one of the most. This is the most Canadian film since Strange Brew.
You know what I actually want to see is Letterkenny.
Before Strange Brew.
It was.
Yeah.
I feel like if they just combined Letterkenny but made it a slasher episode, it would probably be perfect because that's pretty much what this was. I
definitely
get
has
so
a
distracted
feel.
by Canadian accents. I don't know if I'm the only one
Really,
here.
I love them. I'm kind of a what would you call it? Not a Francophile or a
Canadiaphile?
That's what I'm saying. What's the equivalent of Canadian? I definitely am a Canadianophile. I love. I dig Canadian culture. I think their accent's very charming.
Yeah.
I love anything. That's why I love hockey movies so much.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because anything that takes place in like a small Canadian town, I'm into. So that's why I fell in love with this movie right away. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, I want to live in this little weird town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of do.
I guess I
You
kinda
should
do.
just start walking around speaking with a Canadian accent.
Yeah.
You would have it. It would be it.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. That's how I get into my Canadian accent, is not by saying anything Canadian, but by saying a city in Wisconsin, which is Kenosha.
Mhm.
I used to live near Kenosha.
Yeah.
And that's how I get Kenosha.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Kenosha. Oh, yeah. We'll be there soon. We're just passing through to Kenosha.
But then at that point, are we just talking about
Minnesota?
like a Minnesota,
Minnesota's
South,
just southern
Dakota.
Canada.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same stuff.
Yeah.
Word. Let's go. Written by John Beard. Again,
You're
what the
struggling
fuck?
with the name.
What the fuck is with these names?
You know what I just realized, too? That not only is this the most Canadian flick, but Valentine's Day is the most Canadian holiday.
Sure.
Why?
Because it's just
What?
everyone's
Explain
just
this.
being
Break it
nice to
down.
each other.
Yeah.
Literally, that's the whole thing is be nice day.
You know,
right?
you know
Yeah.
what? With almost every partner I've had, I'm just like, I don't do Valentine's Day. I don't want to do it. And then what happens is that I feel guilty around there, and then I'll either try to do something nice or get them something.
Mhm.
And this time, my partner was just like, here's this really cool glass. Which, granted, guys, it's great. Do you know the brand Permanent Hangover?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they had
You
a
guys,
glass.
you told me about it, actually.
Yeah, they had a glass that says roses are red, violets are blue. I don't want to get shit faced with anyone but you. And I was just like, okay, cool, that's cool.
Oh,
but then I start my internal people pleaser guilt. I'm like, damn it, I gotta fucking do something now. Damn it, I don't want to, but
see, it's more for us because Kate and I've never been super big on Valentine's Day. Sometimes, especially before we had kids, we go out to eat maybe or something like that. Never on Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
But this year I drew Kate and the girls all cards.
Oh, cute.
For their thing. I'll have to show you it because mine, she does not know this yet. But the girls, I drew ones with their little, I actually have them here because I'm going to print them out. So the girls I did with their favorite like cartoon characters. And I drew them on the thing. This is the one I made for Kate.
It's you. Greyhound panda butts.
So that's just a little
inside joke.
Yeah, it's a little nickname we have for each other. But it's just a can of St. Val's love sauce, extra hot and spicy. I'll post it at some point. It's just completely stupid, but I'm going to turn that into a card
because it has
for
baby
it.
face Brian on it.
And then, I just went through my Facebook and looked at the picture where I had the stupidest look on my face I could find, and then I put that one in there.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then Kate, if I get her chocolates of any kind, she's good. She's good. She's a big chocolate. Yeah, she. I have almost lost my life on numerous occasions for forgetting to get chocolate at places.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shameful.
Yeah, she held a knife to my throat when I got home.
So before we dive too far into this movie, I just had another thought related to it because, a lot of people I'm sure have seen this movie, but like the amount of chocolate boxes, I started getting really judgmental towards the killer. And I was just like, he's probably like 700 pounds at this point because of how many people he kills. But then I thought further, I was like, $20. I just had this image of like, say we're in your, Crypt or Kel, but like decked out pink and red, but with this murderous like gas mask killer in here, putting together these chocolate boxes and writing all these like Valentines and
he's
stuff.
crafty.
Like, he's super crafty. Yeah.
His poems are ass, but he's crafty.
his poems are straight butt.
Yeah, they are terrible. He can't write for shit.
No. Spoiler alert, the guy who works down in the mines in rural Nova Scotia, not a great writer.
Yeah. Perhaps if he were a true poet, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing.
Yeah. But I just love how this town is like super small town, charming, but it's also like not like Pleasantville. It kind of feels real and lived in a little bit. I don't know. It's a cool setting.
Except for like whenever the guys. So we're pretty much talking about the beginning of the movie. It opens up and we have our killer basically about to. We see two people in like the whole gas mask like mining type outfit, and we come to find out like the one chick. One's a chick and she strips down pretty much naked. They're about to get it on in the mine.
Why was she in the costume? Was it
Cosplay,
to sneak in? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because
then she took it off and her hair was like perfect too.
Right.
It's like
prude maybe.
Me? Why put? There's nothing sexy to me about a gas. Like unless you're doing Fallout cosplay or Fallout role playing, I can't imagine why you want a gas mask on. But all right, you know what?
But
not trying to yuck anybody's yum here.
Maybe it was sneaking in though.
Yeah, well, that's what I took. Is they're sneaking in, perhaps. But later, I guess that was 20 years ago. Because I was gonna say later, it's real easy to just go in whenever you want.
Yeah.
But I guess it was 20 years earlier. But
yeah. At a time when no one was scared of anything. But so anywho, the opening scene is we have the two people and the killer basically kills this female. We have our first victim within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say it's
which was
2-3 minutes in, right?
Though I was trying to think like further and look into this differently of like, but I guess it now makes sense because I don't know if we're going to reveal how early we're going to reveal who the actual killer is, but he sees the heart on her chest of a tattoo, kind of like yours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very this whole thing is just tying into the thematic so much.
This is actually a story
I just
about
got
your
this
life.
This morning for this episode.
Also, you got to be careful, Brian. You might now be a target of Canadians.
Oh, shit.
Don't hang around Canadian mines.
Yeah. I always wonder why every time I go across the border, somebody starts pressing something sharp against my chest. And I go, I guess that's like a Canadian handshake
I
or
like
something.
to think, though, at this point that this killer is now triggered by hearts, so that's his whole, you know what I mean? He's really straight, like,
this is
he's straight up triggered by hearts. And so he would maybe
fanfic.
Maybe he was actually going to bang her and actually legitimately have a good night. And then all of a sudden saw the heart and was like, flipped a switch in his brain. And he's like, no, fuck this. I'm gonna fucking.
It was
kill
like a
this bitch.
Manchurian Candidate
Yeah.
situation, and that's like his trigger.
Yeah.
Couldn't help himself.
Yeah.
So and you get like, it's not a huge jump scare, but like it's for that time period. I felt like him throwing the pickaxe into the wall was kind of like, oh god.
Yeah, and there's a little
we're
sting.
trying.
There's a little sound sting in there. As well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but anywho, so he's setting it up so that as soon as he sees the heart, he gets triggered. He's like, oh my god, now I'm gonna kill this bitch, and he shoves her into the pickaxe. I don't. No one else could see your faces when I said that.
We're gonna kill this bitch.
Yeah.
It just.
Oh my god, I'm gonna kill this bitch. It's just, oh, okay,
I'm
yeah.
just glad you said it.
Right.
You're the only one who can get away with saying something just like so aggressive like that. And just throwing your head back and cackling as you say it. We're gonna fucking kill this bitch.
I'm gonna make it my staple now. That's what's gonna happen. All right.
Meg
over
the
this.
incel just goes wild over here.
Fuck you guys.
I'm gonna kill these bitches.
Fuck you guys. I'm done. I'm out.
Drink your puree, mix the seltzer.
I wish it was pure. Yeah, so let's keep going. So this is what I was getting at when I jumped into the movie, and I was like, it kind of has this, like, I think they're trying to create this Pleasantville, because I mean, all these people coming out of the mine, I'm like, they're all grab assy and
Oh
like
my god, it's
happy-go-lucky.
aggressive. And
Like,
yeah, they are so I guess you should say the interesting thing about this movie is like it focuses around a group of like young adults
Mhm.
that aren't in high school, that aren't in college.
Yeah.
They're like semi-grown up. Like you said, they're probably like early 20s
Yeah.
to early
Yeah.
30s,
Yeah,
maybe.
they still might be like college age.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like,
But they live in a
just
mining
didn't
town.
go to college.
Right. They
Yeah.
live in a mining town. That's what you do. You graduate high school, you go get a job in the mine.
You get your grade 10, you go to the mine.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's weird
Great.
because they
That's
all,
what they call it in Canada.
Yeah. They have like more agency. Like,
Mhm.
and I really like the idea that there's no they're still definitely immature, obviously.
Yeah.
They definitely feel like high school jockish type of guys.
Yeah.
But they don't have any like parents or any type of like guardian type figures to provide any type of like guardrails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I mean, there's the mayor, but it's not like, oh, I gotta get home, my parents are gonna get mad at me,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
There's the mayor, and then the only other parent is the owner of the mine,
Right.
who is TJ's dad.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
But yeah, speaking of the grab assing, the amount of just, I mean, they were drowning in like repressed sexual tension in the shower.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the amount of guys in the shower that wanted to fuck each other was through the roof.
I kind of only assumed that maybe they didn't see the light of day for at least 5 weeks.
Maybe. I don't know. They were just like they were all psyched about the dance. They were like, like slapping each other's ass with the
Yeah.
towels and pushing and grabbing.
I've
and,
never known it.
let me suck your dick. I'm just kidding. It was just
Just kidding. Didn't mean to, but I mean,
Baby.
unless.
just kidding.
I dropped my soap, guys.
Yeah.
It was seriously just like they all just really wanted to fuck each other. And if you've ever everyone has this, I imagine, I don't want to make any assumptions, but I imagine if you grew up as a young man or young woman or whatever, that you probably experienced this thing. There's always that person that's like just
Messy Meg.
Meg just missed her glass by 4 inches.
Yeah. 100% just dumped Topo Chico everywhere.
That was the hardest miss. Well, what I was saying was there's always that person that's like a little too excited to be naked in the showers, after like, playing sports or whatever.
Yeah.
And these were all that guy.
All of that guy.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, it's one, there's no women allowed in the mine.
Right.
That's a rule.
Yeah.
Two, it seems very obvious that there's not a whole lot of women in the town to begin with.
No, it seems about 5 to 1
Yeah.
at least. Yeah.
So, yeah, of course these guys are super repressed and just like, I see your dick. You want to grab my dick, maybe?
Yeah. That's the subtext.
Yeah.
And also,
I feel like they could have had an opportunity then at that point to say,
oh,
hey,
it's
let's
happened. It's just a different movie. It's just a different movie.
Yeah, it's a different movie.
Yeah. It's Coal Mine Boys,
You probably-
Volume 4.
You
Yeah.
probably don't have like the murders
genre.
happening.
Yeah, probably less murders,
Yeah.
more sex.
Pickaxe is actually replaced by penis.
Yeah.
Through the jaw, up through the eye, just like
out through
later.
the eye.
But also, then they do like a whole Keystone Cops bit in the parking lot as they're like taking off.
It's a real mad world rush to go drink at the dive.
Yeah. They're very excited. It's
Yeah.
like payday.
Yeah.
I get it, but it's just
Yeah.
it's
Which-
cartoonish.
Right. Which
It
I
is.
also like because it's also mad world because just the production level, the production design, I guess, really, is that all these cars look like shit.
Yeah.
And they're all different cars.
Yeah.
So I feel like these are real cars that were being driven by a cast and crew.
100%. Yeah, that's why everything feels very lived in.
Yeah.
Yeah, very lived in. Just a
Yeah.
bunch of jokers,
Like,
you know.
Like if they made that movie today, or even I don't know, I didn't see the 2009 version.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like that at
Yeah,
all.
but I feel like all the miners would have had like a Dodge Charger or a Mustang.
Yeah.
They all would have been driving something that they couldn't afford rather than a car that was 10 years too old and beat the fuck up.
Yeah. Like missing hubcaps and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I also have to take a step back. Do you refer to everything before 2010 as 20-something? 2009, 20?
More or less, wherever my brain goes. It took a minute for me to remember
I got
when
really
that one
awkward.
actually came
Yeah,
out.
no, I
So.
gotcha. That's what I mean.
I say 2009.
Yeah. Back in the 2009s, that's when they released My Bloody Valentine in 3D.
It wasn't 3D. I think
Technicolor.
it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't 3D.
It was.
That's why I didn't
it was
see
called
it, 'cause-
My Bloody Valentine 3D. Wasn't
Yeah.
that like
I'm pretty
what
sure
it
I
was?
saw that one before I ever saw this
Yeah.
one too.
It's
just
actually
like-
fine.
Yeah.
It's just not nearly as charming as this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't watch it because it was part of that 3D craze, and I just don't
I know.
care.
They were all dumb.
Give a big middle finger.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
Well,
we grew up though on like the OG 3D with those glasses. And
Well,
you're like, this is not
Steve
it.
just bumped because he made a 3D zombie movie and got mad that
Right.
everyone was biting his style.
Well, and then mine was
Literally.
actually made in the old red and blue stereoscopic, whereas all the new ones were made on different technology.
That's
I didn't
interesting.
have access to.
Sons of bitches.
Shameful.
Just side story of like I did see Jackass like recently too, and like my partner made a point to talk about like the last one, like when they did a 3D version of it.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you didn't see it in 3D?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. I don't think I've ever seen a Jackass movie in the theater." He's like, "Yeah, you just got like dicks being thrown at you the
Yeah.
whole time." I was like, "Oh, did you like dodge them?" Like, you know?
No, he was just like Pac-Man.
No,
We rip on his king bings, then we make suggestive jokes
He's
about
really
him.
into this king bang cake idea though.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's good.
But I did get immediately a text being like, I am done with this king bang sabotage. I'm like, all right, bro. I'm never gonna stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, so we jump to now they're meeting with all the ladies who are getting ready for this Valentine's Day dance, which we come to find out that this like Valentine's Day dance has been like 100-year tradition for this town. The guys are getting all excited about,
But they
seeing
hadn't
these-
had it in 20 years.
Yeah, I didn't know if I want to dive too far into the story just yet before just like quickly touching on just like with all the guys meeting up with the ladies. This is where we get introduced to the mayor who is TJ's dad. Is he also like he's the mayor and the owner of the mine? Did I miss that?
No, I just think he's the owner of the mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said
thought they
mayor,
were-
but I don't there is a mayor though.
No, I think he was referred to
Is
as the
there?
mayor.
Yeah.
Maybe he's both.
He
I
might
think
be
he's-
both because I
yeah.
remember looking up who he was because I was like, I recognize that guy, and somebody was credited as mayor something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they don't help anything because when the sheriff comes in, they call him chief, but then the sheriff calls the mayor chief,
Yeah.
the mine owner chief, and it's like, what the hell? Like,
I'm not your chief, pal.
yeah.
He could have
I'm
used
not your
Hoss,
pal.
and
I'm not your pal, guy.
it was definitely a missed opportunity to use the word Hoss. And come on,
Right.
guys,
Yeah,
let's go.
come on.
Yeah, so this is where we start getting like there's like this like really terrible lovely drama throughout it where TJ had left for a period of time and went to California, didn't tell anyone where he was at, and then came back. So now this is like
He went to like make it big in the music scene.
yeah.
Did he
And
go
then-
to California or did he go to Vancouver?
They just said out west.
Right.
So it's probably Vancouver.
I thought they said California.
Oh, they
They
might
might-
have.
they might.
Yeah,
I
I
just
thought
remember
I
them
I
saying
remember out west.
he couldn't make it by himself going out west or whatever.
Yeah. Which is even more hilarious, though. Like if it
Went
was
to
like Vancouver.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
But, I mean, there's a lot
I've
of
never
movies
been.
shot there.
And Vancouver is apparently like one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Yeah. No, but I feel like there are a lot of movies shot in Vancouver.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
though.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for
nowadays,
sure.
yeah.
Well, and this was I'm gonna assume this was very much in the heyday of the Canadian tax shelter films, right?
Probably.
So that's probably why it was
Canadian what, Philip?
So there was a whole era of time where there was a way, there was like a tax loophole that if you shot in Canada, as long as you had like a certain percentage of like Canadian actors and staff and stuff like that, you got these like insane tax breaks. So all these like low budget American filmmakers went up and filmed their movies in Canada.
I mean, I think it's still going on today.
It is, but there was I think there was like a gold rush type timing where it was like you got these crazy amount of tax credits.
Just come to Canada.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah,
we look a lot like your United States.
Yeah. We're right here.
Yeah. The only things we don't look like are the Southwest and LA. And that's about it.
Or probably the South. Maybe.
Yeah, North Carolina-ish.
Yeah, I suppose.
If it's the right time of day.
Yeah.
This is right around the time, too, if I'm not mistaken, where the gentleman gives his girlfriend the skull crusher.
Yeah.
Oh,
what the hell was that?
Grabs her? Yeah.
He picks her up by the head.
Oh, yes.
I'm pretty sure the giant Gonzalez picked up the Undertaker the exact same way
Yeah,
at
it's a
WrestleMania
skull
9.
crusher.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
You're like, just don't. Yeah. Hey, we have tough bodies. I don't know. I mean,
Yes,
granted.
my goodness.
Sure.
I mean, that seems mildly romantic to me, guys.
Feels dangerous.
Like, I want someone to do that to me.
Listen, I'm not a particularly strong individual, and I've never dated anyone who I felt like I could pick up like a baby
By the head.
But I certainly wouldn't do it by the head.
It's all about the angles and stuff like that. So basically, she probably had his hands on it. Like, so he's holding her head.
Yeah.
She grabs the hands, and she's lifting.
Yeah, and then
So,
she
like,
slips,
you know what I
and then
mean?
he's her noose and snaps her neck. And then that thing that happens later in the movie
Right.
happens to her.
To be fair, so I think this
To be
couple
fair.
is the John and Sylvia. I think this is the couple.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and
They
so
eat shit later.
right, yeah, they eat shit later. But like, so Sylvia is kind of small, and John is the gingerest lurch I've ever seen.
Yeah, he definitely seems like he came from an inbred family.
which is shocking that he's in the mine because he's huge.
Yeah.
Like,
Very true.
Yeah, not a traditional miner build.
right.
I mean,
He's
you really need to be
he's former
jockey
child
height.
of the corn.
Right.
And then he comes to work in the mine.
I love you, Sylvia. I pick you up, I kiss you on the mouth. Let me pick you up by your skull.
Yeah. He accidentally bites her lips
Yeah.
off.
I am watching that. Sorry, I'm watching that Netflix show. The one from it's like
Archive
based,
81.
based in Japan. It's the zombie one.
Oh, I think that's Korean actually, but all of us are dead.
Yeah, all of us are dead. Yeah, I'm
I
watching
watched
that.
the first
And
couple
you
episodes.
kept the one where the girl gets bit straight up on the mouth, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that teacher just basically wanted to make out with her. But anywho,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, okay, cool. So now the ladies are setting up for the dance because the dance is now commencing.
Mm-hmm.
And is it at Mabel's laundromat or adjacent to that? Because she seemed very involved, but her laundromat was like hella decked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why-
this town is basically like Disney's Halloween Town, but for Valentine's Day.
I did love that movie.
But
as
it
a
is
child.
called, isn't it called like Valentine Bluff or something? The movie?
Yeah,
Or, I mean,
yeah.
not the movie.
Yeah, the
town.
Yeah, the town's like
Yeah.
Valentine's Bluff, and then Mabel, she isn't. She seems like an unofficial, like maybe town hall council member.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. yeah.
Who
Some
is-
civic leader of some
yeah,
sort.
who-
I mean,
she's this is
again-
her thing to be in charge, but she
Yeah.
also owns Mabel's laundromat.
There's like 10 people in the city, or the town. So
Right.
like, yeah, no. So someone's need to like set this.
It's
like
like
be an
four
event
old.
planner.
It's like four old people: the
Mhm.
sheriff, the mayor, Mabel, and the bartender.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then just a
She's
bunch
also
of
the-
rowdy kids.
She's
Yeah.
also the candlestick maker.
Yeah.
Like, woman of many hats.
Right.
Mabel. She's full-time Mabel.
She has to run from the laundromat to the butcher to the,
Yeah.
to the bakery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all in one. It's all in house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're introduced to now Mabel. We're introduced to all the girlfriends and yada yada yada. So then, as basically the mayor and the sheriff are heading out to go do whatever they need to do, and one of the guys from the mine, which was it Horace maybe that
Howard.
Howard.
Howard, yes.
The guy who pulls the prank.
Because Hollis was the old bigger dude.
Hollis was
Yeah.
young, cool Wilford Brimley.
Yeah.
Which he had one of those like Chattahoochee like type
I know.
hats, dude.
It's
I was
just me
like,
as Hollis fucking rule.
Hollis does
like,
rule.
He is like awesome. He is really cool.
I was genuinely sad when Hollis dies.
Right.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Hollis dies.
Hollis dies. Everyone, a lot of
But
people
sad.
died. So Howard runs out with this box of chocolates and is like, "Hey,
Well,
Mare,
after he
dude."
pulled a Roseanne on whatever her name
Mabel.
is. Mabel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He comes out with like guts on his face. or
Right.
whatever.
But
Yeah.
it's like cake frosting.
It's really
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has this box of chocolates for the mayor. He's like, "Oh, someone left the story." He's like, "Oh, it's my Valentine, blah blah blah. Is it you, Mabel?" And then he like looks at the sheriff and he's like, "Was it you? Was it?"
And the sheriff got a mad case of the not gays.
He got really red in the face. Let's just be real. He's
Yeah.
like, "No, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
wasn't me."
Case of the not gay. Yeah, he was like, "No, dude,
Not even. Not even.
Come on, no homo."
And they're like 50. It's a little old to be.
Yeah, good, dude. He's joking. Chill.
He like says no but winks, like pretty much. So the sheriff and the mayor are driving. I think they're heading basically to the police station, and he opens the box, and I think this is where we get the infamous fucking like quote of roses are red, violets. Nope, that's Mabel's death.
Mhm.
Never mind. Oh yeah, spoiler. Mabel dies.
Oh, yeah. Mabel also died.
No,
Yeah,
this
no,
is
so-
where he does the face when he opens this box, and there's I don't have you mentioned yet what is in the box?
Yeah, it's a fucking heart.
It's a human heart.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's the lady. It's the the bitch from the first scene. Yeah,
Incel Meg at it again. But no, he when he opens up this heart in there, the face he doesn't do the like, oh my god, he does
Yeah.
like a unbelievably annoyed face
Right.
almost. He's just like
Not
does-
again.
Yeah, he just does this like, oh
Yeah.
my god, this is frustrating. But of course, it's like he just was acting his balls off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
chewing the scenery
Just-
in this one.
Because it's a revelation of 20 years later, and we still can't have Valentine's Day.
Yeah. It's just such a
But our
strange
tail's
reaction.
ain't Valentine, whatever.
Yeah.
So the note actually says, "From the heart comes a warning of bloody good cheer. Remember what happened on the 14th draws near," or something like that. And the mayor is like freaking out because he's like, "This can't be happening again." So
Mhm.
he has this understanding that like something had happened on Valentine's Day in the past, and we learn about really what happens in the next scene. Where we have a scene where all of the people from the mine, so now we have like the girls, the guys are all hanging out, they're all partying, they're being all
chugging
goofy,
moose
they're getting
head.
excited about the Valentine's Day dance, and the bartender, which I didn't catch the bartender's name.
I wrote it down. What is
Hap?
it?
Hap.
Yeah.
Is what I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
What
I
is
think you're
HAP
right.
short for?
Haplo.
Happenstance. Happenstand.
Haperall.
Chap. E.
It's probably another name for Henry, and then people are just like
Maybe.
Hap.
Hap.
Because
Yeah.
Hap is one of those ones like, oh yeah. So basically,
Henry Allen.
Maybe. He's just sitting there drinking. Like, I want to sit and drink Moosehead with the Gordon's Fisherman
Yeah.
like that.
I tried to find Moosehead on my way over because I was
Hey.
like, this is the official beer of this
let me
film.
spoil it for you. Fucking blows.
No. I know,
because-
but I wanted to
Well,
drink it.
you
want to
know why I know this? Is because Justin from 11th Hour texted me one time and was like, dude, I just bought some Moosehead, a 12-pack of Moosehead. It's fucking rules. It's like actually got some hop character. It's like really good. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I was at JR's and I got a 12-pack of Moosehead and I opened one and I was like, this is horse shit. And I texted him, I was like, stop telling people Moosehead's good. He's like, I know. I don't know why I thought Moosehead was good for a minute.
Was he already drunk on something else?
Yeah, he was probably hammered.
That's how it
Yeah,
happens.
Yeah. And then he drank it and he got like this weird sulfury character from it and then was like, oh, he like thought it was hops or something.
Something broke through his palate fatigue.
Yeah.
And he thought it was a flavorful
Yeah.
thing.
And then the next thing I was like, please. And then so every time he says something is good now, I'm like, is it like Moosehead good? Like I give him a hard time about it. Because it's straight poop.
Mm.
It's just
Straight
like
poop.
bottom of the barrel, North American lager.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I sometimes in just the name confuse that with Lion's Head. Though
Lion's Head's better.
Yeah, Lion's Head's better, and also they have games.
Right.
Yeah.
They have the puzzle.
Oh, they can.
And also back then in the this was shot in the like late 70s, early 80s. Moosehead was probably a completely different
It was
beer
probably
back
way
then.
better.
All
might
those beers
actually
were
been-
totally different.
It might have
back
actually
then.
been good.
Yeah. For those of you who can't hear, my printer, because we do this in my office, is just printing multiple pages, and I just assumed it was my wife. But Bruce came in, and we're now seeing that it's just a bunch of pictures of sexy female dogs
Just dogs in bikinis.
that he was printing.
Just, I don't let them print that stuff at home.
You have parental locks on the computer now?
Yeah.
Parental locks, parental.
Safe search is on.
Safe search is on.
Safe print is on. Yeah. So where
We were drinking Moosehead with the Gordon's Fisherman.
Moosehead. That's my song to you guys.
That's a great song.
Good rejoinder.
It's a strong song.
So, Hap, the bartender, is just like basically like freaking out. He's like, "You guys don't fucking understand."
Yeah, he's aggressive.
He is so aggressive. He's just like, "You need to understand." So we learn now of the official story of the Bloody Valentine. It was said it was about 20 years ago that on every single Valentine's Day, this town for 100+ years has been having this Valentine's Day dance. And 20 years ago, in this mine, because it's a mining town as well, that there were 7 miners who got stuck in the mine on Valentine's Day. So what happened was 2 supervisors weren't really paying attention. They left to basically get out of there, and 5 of the miners actually got stuck in there, and they didn't do a check for the methane gas, and I think there was like a huge explosion, and basically they all got trapped in there, and no one got found for 6 weeks except for one person. And this one person was Harry Warden. Harry Warden. So basically, which I actually think like the scene when you like come on his face, or wow, it was awkward
What?
to say.
Freudian slip.
Like when they shoot on his face, again, hate it, phrasing. Let's talk.
Just a whole series of Freudian slips.
When they shoot on his face, head on. He's like, oh.
Well, it's basically like the scene from Dracula when they're down the stairs to the boat.
Yeah.
In the boat, and it's
And it's like,
what's his
Yeah.
freaking
like
name? Renfield.
Yeah,
is
Renfield.
down in the hall. But
Yeah.
in this instance, Harry's sitting there eating a forearm like a fucking corn on the cob. Like he's just just munching on it.
So he ends up going to a mental institution, and but he got out a year later and ended up killing the 2 supervisors that got away. And so it was this whole fucking thing where it was like this massacre, My Bloody Valentine type massacre. And
he ripped their hearts out too.
he ripped their hearts out, brother. Why do I do this thing?
That's what happens when
It
Meg's all,
erupted out of you.
Meg's all ramped up on Topo Chico.
Yeah. I've been drinking Topo Chico all day.
Well, drink, brother.
Green tea all day.
I'm still trying to get sponsored by someone, guys. Come on, let's like.
Let me tell you, brother, when you get that exotic
I
pineapple
become
in
a
you.
different person.
Oh, yeah. Cream
Snap
rise.
into a topo, guys.
The Aslan rises to the top. Oh, yeah. Full of puree and lactose.
Yeah, so every year, fucking Harry Warren is like, in theory, comes back to kill someone, but he ended up not.
Well, they
really.
think he roams the mines
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
for people who are
Basically.
partying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we really come to find out that too, like he ended up going like back to the mental institution and like dies at some point too. But
Spoiler, Harry Warden dies.
Harry's not the dude.
I feel like they did a good job though, as like with like this like red herring of like it. They think it's him the whole time, and
Yeah.
but I also don't think they do the other side where they don't do a good job is like you think it's other people, and
Oh, yeah.
but I don't like the red herrings that they like create.
You pretty
know?
much know it's either TJ or Axel. It has to be.
I
one of them,
actually
right?
never assumed it was Axel though.
See, I did.
See, I never assumed it was Axel either. I assumed it was TJ most of the time. Then there's that one little part where again the Skull Crusher comes back, so you assume it might be John.
See, I thought it was
I didn't think it was
TJ.
that.
Or I thought
I-
it was Axel because he was so overprotective and weird.
Right.
But you thought that was the herring, the red herring.
I mean, he's overprotective and weird, but I think it's just way more geared towards TJ because, like, one, he's always skulking about. Two, he's always seems to be coming into a scene right after a murder.
Yeah.
It's one of those two.
I think they did a good job setting up TJ as a possible murderer, and then the other one being like, it's probably fucking Harry Warden. You know what I mean? I think they do a good job, like throughout the whole film. I think like it's either one of those two. I never thought it was anyone else, which is why I think this movie did have like more of an appeal for me in general, that like, oh, it's someone completely different. So, and I feel like, okay, this movie is only an hour and 20 minutes. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. A tight 80 some minutes.
Tight. And a lot of it is just this drama between TJ and Axel's characters, like fighting over Sarah. So with TJ leaving, TJ was dating this chick, Sarah, throughout the like whatever before he left. And when he left, Axel swooped in and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make you my lady." Did you
classic Axel voice?
Classic Axel.
I mean, I haven't met that many Axels, but I want to meet more.
I really only met one. By met, I mean know of.
Yeah.
Axl Rose.
Yeah.
I know of two, Axl Rose and Axel from Streets of Rage on the Sega Genesis.
That Axel.
Yeah.
I don't know what his voice sounds like though. I know what his grunts sound like.
Right.
Yeah, so a lot of these scenes feel like fillers because they're going back and forth between the mayor and the sheriff trying to like, so they obviously know that this murder, something's gonna happen in this like town tonight, and they're trying to keep it on the DL. And we have the bartender who's like trying to warn everyone the entire night, and then he decides after the warning basically to fuck with all of them, and is like,
because they're like, well, you should say they cancel the dance.
Okay, so maybe I'm jumping ahead too far. With
they
like
cancel the dance.
They cancel the dance after Mabel was killed.
So I was like, let's like jump to Mabel's death, where Mabel's death is pretty gory and shit like that.
Best or second best death?
Yeah. No, I think it's a pretty good death in that, like, we have a lot of the classic, like, slasher, like, tropes going on, and where we have, like, that first person POV, and I love the breathing, too, because I feel like you hear it, like, there's something that can indicate that it's someone versus someone else, because they do a couple of those scenes where it almost looks like the shoot is like based on like looks like someone's stalking someone else, but we know it's the killer. We know it's whoever is the killer at this point. And he's coming in. He sets things up where he puts a dead heart, and he's at this point he's using basically the last person he killed in these like chocolate boxes, and
it's like lighting the new cigarette off the old one kind of.
Yeah. And this is where we get that lovely poem that I don't know if I mentioned or was about to mention, but it was roses are red, violets are blue, one is dead and so are you.
Ooh,
yeah.
Rhyming.
That's such a fucking metal lyric.
Bad poetry. I think this movie does such a good job of revealing off-screen kills. Between this with Mabel, which Mabel's kill is, I guess, kind of on screen, but
a little bit.
When she's in the dryer, she's fucking sick.
Yeah. So obviously we know now that she dies, and he like how we find out is that the sheriff, who like you kind of hint that's like something might be going on between these people, and he just smells something. He finds her in the fucking dryer, which I thought was kind of.
And then they have her
awesome.
spinning, which is cool. Yeah. They didn't have to do the spin.
Yeah.
And then also later,
also who restarted it? That killer would have had to come back for that.
Yeah. He put a lot of quarters.
He just put a bunch of quarters in it.
Yeah. He put it on bed sheets at it.
Yeah.
I think the other one later, and I think it's John, when they drops down on the noose and his head rips off.
Oh, when his head rips off.
Did you
wait? Are we talking Howard's death? Like when
is
they're in
it
the
Howard?
ladder? When they're
no, it's in the mine when the head drops down.
Sylvia was another person who might have been like upside down.
Do you remember when they dropped down? They had somebody tied on the noose and they fell down and their whole head ripped off.
That was Howard.
If you didn't see,
I feel like that was Howard.
If you didn't see the extended version, it wasn't in it.
Maybe that's
maybe that's the extended version, because this movie apparently, like the theatrical version, had like 9 minutes cut out of it because it was super gory.
Yeah,
and but you can find the extended cut has like 3 or 5 extra minutes in it.
Okay.
I watched it on Hulu, so I'm assuming that I probably didn't get the extent.
You might not
Yeah,
have.
you might not
Yeah.
have. Yeah, because there were scenes. I guess here's what were some of the kill scenes considerably lower quality than the rest of the movie.
No.
Okay, so I watched the extended cut because there were ones where literally there's a couple of scenes where. Okay, when
So it looks like the film wasn't developed properly and color timed.
yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
so like for example, when the bartender dies,
Yeah.
did you guys see it go through his eye?
I got it through the eye. Yeah.
Okay,
I
that's
think
weird.
I
That
did.
was
Yeah,
in there.
no, because it was pretty
that was
gory.
in lower quality for me too.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a scene later where one of the dudes who
I might have
gets
just
killed,
missed it.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
like it's like a kind of haunted house, very Halloween type
Because
theme.
the ones I remember of people falling were Sylvia's in the mine
Yeah.
by herself, and the suits start dropping around
no,
her.
yeah, not that one.
So yeah, it's not that one because that's Hap who
Yeah.
falls and his
this
head
is
doesn't
after
disconnect.
that.
And then there's the guy who falls down the shaft.
Yeah.
And I might have just been looking away, and that might have been part
I
of
think
it.
that's what it was because he's already dead, and they kind of drop his corpse down with
Yeah.
the noose around his neck, and it rips his head off.
Okay.
I don't know if maybe like it cut it off because the only other one that is like are we talking towards the end of the movie? Because it was Howard that like because we didn't really see exactly
I
how
think
he
it is
died.
Howard because they're
And
like,
they
"Fuck
were-
you,
they
Howard!"
were-
and they
They
leave
were
him
like
down there.
climbing up
Yeah.
the ladder, and that was what made them go back down the ladder.
Yeah.
And his but his death. I mean, I didn't see a body rip apart, but I saw like literally that's what happened is like the body literally like fell on with like a noose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And,
okay.
you know what I mean? It might be his.
Same
like,
one,
that were
same one.
maybe-
Yeah, because he was in.
Was there anything extra to that one couple who that like it wasn't John and Sylvia, it wasn't Hollis, it wasn't Howard. I think it was like Dave.
Oh
and
yeah, Matt
Pat,
and was it Matt and someone? I
Oh,
did.
they get the drill through them.
Yeah, no,
both-
we
do
didn't.
they show that?
I didn't
No,
see the
they-
death.
Okay,
I didn't
okay.
see the death of that second couple who was macking because I like
Yeah.
made a point. We had 2 macking couples like in
Yeah.
like this whole scene where we're like, okay, you're clearly gonna die.
Yeah, but the ones
But
that
the
just
second
bail
one-
later once they're already down there,
Right.
Yeah,
they
you
get
didn't
the
see-
drill through them.
Yeah.
Okay.
you don't see it.
Oh, you
they
didn't
just
see-
find
yeah.
them with the drill.
Yeah, you don't see their death. But like what I was curious about, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, like thinking about slasher films, is like at that point, and maybe he's like, since we find out it's Axel as the killer, that like he ends up using a gun at one point. Whereas like I
It was
almost
a nail
feel
gun.
like, but I feel like
That's how he gets Hollis.
Yeah.
but like I feel like sometimes like we see like there's like almost this very consistent like killing pattern of like the weapon specifically
Mhm.
that like this I feel like took it a different direction like where maybe it allowed us to think that it could have been someone else because he was using a different weapon.
Was
I don't know if you guys
When
like
did-
or like what you even thought about that because when the moment I saw like a gun I was like this is a little
well,
different.
Friday the 13th, which came out right around the same time,
Yeah.
had multiple,
Yeah.
tons
multiple,
of different weapons.
Yeah.
Even the first one had from the poke up through the bed with the arrow
Sure.
to a machete to shooting arrows. There was a lot of different kills there, but this would have came out. What year did Friday 13th? 81?
That I think Friday the 13th is 80.
80.
And this is 81. And
Yeah.
then The Burning is 82?
I think
Or
so.
okay.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because I was gonna say
maybe The Burning is 80.
that might be 80 as well.
Yeah.
But it's all very in the same early.
Yeah, but
And then we can always go back to The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which had plenty of various kills.
a trombone was
And a
involved.
trombone. Trombone knife.
Yeah. But I guess it was still a knife.
Yeah.
Just taped to the end
Trombone
of a
knife.
trombone.
yeah.
Trife.
Yeah.
Trife.
As colloquially, we refer to as a trife.
As it's known in
Sidebar.
Arkansas or Texarkana.
Texarkana.
A trife.
Speaking of Texarkana, I don't know if I told you guys, like for my trip to Austin next month,
Uh-huh.
I decided to drive, and one of my stops is near the Texarkana border because specifically I was like trying to find a camping spot to see like if there's anything spoopy around there. You know what I mean?
I'm sure there's a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
The most Canadian scene in the film when TJ is takes fully abducts Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully
Oh, yeah.
abducts. Kidnapping. I mean, first degree
But she's
kidnapping.
smiling about it, so.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
I don't want to go.
Well, no, no means yes
when
in
he pulls
Canada.
her
We all
from
know
work,
this.
so we
obviously.
are going back a little bit, which is fine. Which is
Right.
really fine.
Well,
yeah.
I wrote down the amount of Canadian happening in the scene where he takes her to the beach and he's like, "I'm so damn sorry."
Yeah.
Oh
He just
yeah.
says sorry.
There's
90 times.
I feel like sometimes in these Canadian films they purposely use the word sorry or a boot all the time because
Yeah.
you're just like
It's like Goosebumps,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the Goosebumps TV series, or not Goosebumps. Well, Goosebumps, yes, but Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Pretty afraid of the dark.
Yeah, it was everybody was sorry and
Yeah.
boot.
Sarah had a pretty good story that was like when they're in the mine and it's like her and Patty, and I think she like either bumps into Patty or like just something really innocuous. And she's like,
you're
oh,
just
sorry.
Ooh, sorry.
sorry.
Ooh,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
Yeah. You're like, it's kind of like when films don't say goodbye, but like Canadians just still always say sorry. Like it's just like dropped into there. It's like the same kind of
Oh,
thing,
sorry.
but like different.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
My Canadian moment of the film, if we're doing this,
Mhm.
is it's when the group decides at Hap's bar, they decide they're going to have their party anyway,
Yeah.
and they're going to have it at the mine.
Right.
Yeah.
And Hap issues a warning to them.
Yeah.
And TJ gets up and gets in Hap's face, which is also like a way to lead you to believe that TJ's the killer because he's the one
Right.
who's drawing everybody into
True.
the mine.
Sure.
Yeah.
But TJ gets up in Hap's face and he says, "Well, you know what? Piss on Harry Warden," which directly led me back to Slapshot,
Yeah.
where they say,
Oh.
"Piss on old time hockey and piss on Eddie Shore."
That's funny.
I
That's
love
awesome.
Slapshot so fucking
Yeah.
much. Slapshot, and I could watch Slapshot and Strange Brew.
Yeah.
Weekly.
Yeah.
I love this.
Great films.
That's
But
great.
yeah,
So
that,
I mean,
that stuck out.
Yeah.
Piss on Harry Warden.
And then also when the guy just pops up and gives him the raspberry too. I love a good fart noise raspberry.
I love a good fart noise. Yeah, so that leads us into where Hap is trying to then be like, because he's warned them twice now, and he's like, no, I'm gonna fuck with them now. Which I feel like, so he basically sets up a scene where whenever they open the door to go into this, like the building where they want to have the party, that it would look like Harry Warden in his killer costume of sorts. And so it basically would open it up and like the whole thing.
It's a little dummy and
Yeah.
He had it rigged up like a little pulley system.
Right.
Yes, exactly. And so I felt like it was a little too. I feel like they tested it too many times. So basically,
Yeah. He kept opening going, like it was so funny.
Kept laughing at his own joke like a boob.
You do
like,
it
He
once?
has a creepy fucking laugh.
He did
by
it
the
like
way.
3 times. And
Yeah,
he
and
laughed just as hard every
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I know. He finds this very hilarious.
I
He's
feel like those are like all separate takes, and
Yeah.
just his laugh and bemusement at himself.
Yeah.
The editor was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna keep them all
Keep 'em all in there.
We're keeping
Oh, yeah.
Because they were
this.
all, I mean, he kept it, they were all at 9.8.
Yeah.
Like laughing his
Yeah.
balls off.
And I feel like though, I feel like since we're obviously now in the year that we're in, but like if that was something like
Wait.
that was filmed now, we're in the year that we're so present, motherfucker.
We're in the year that we're
but
in.
what I'm thinking about is like if some scene like that was like filmed now, I feel like you would have done it twice, and then the third time it would have been like the killer.
Mm.
So on like the 5th now take, the killer actually replaces the dummy and kills Hap, and we have that death right there.
Maybe the best death.
No,
Yeah.
it was really
Yeah. I mean, well, there's one coming up still.
Yeah, I just love that one with I mean, goes up through it's the pickaxe,
Yeah.
right? Up
Yeah.
through the chin, pops out the eye socket,
Yeah.
and the eyes like dangling there. It was pretty
yeah.
sick.
I'm joking. This is the best one, but there's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
coming up that is so
Are you
stand
talking
out.
about the one where she's like,
Are you talking
Not
about the
that
hot
one.
dog one?
There you go,
hot
Meg.
dog water death.
Yeah.
Yes. Hot dog
I
water
mean,
death.
I-
Boiled
Anything
and
hot dog.
drowned in hot dog water.
Yeah.
I hope I die.
Oh
in
my
hot dog
god,
water.
there's so many Limp Bizkit jokes right now for this. Heart flavored water.
That is, people don't know, but that is actually like the number 2 killer of Canadians.
They call it getting dursted.
Yeah. The majority of Canadians are drowned and boiled in hot dogs that they're making.
oh
It's a
my
kitchen
god.
accident.
You know what's funny? Growing up, when my mom used to work night shift at the hospital, and my dad would get off work, he couldn't cook at all.
Mhm.
Now he like loves to cook and stuff, but when we were little, couldn't cook at all. So when that was the case, it was either we go to the hot dog shop to
Yeah.
eat chili dogs
Hell
for
yeah.
dinner,
Yeah.
or we eat TV dinners,
Mhm.
you know, or the only other thing my dad would make was boiled hot dogs. And he preferred boiled hot dogs.
What?
And we would be like, Dad, can we just cook them in a pan? Or like we have a grill out back. Like I'll go fire up the grill. No. Boiled
I want
hot
to
dogs.
understand how hot dogs, because I grew up
How
on
hot dogs?
like
How hot dogs?
Stand
That's a shirt.
Yeah.
How hot dogs?
How hot dogs? I want to understand how hot dogs.
I want to understand how hot dogs.
I can't even talk anymore.
I too want to understand how hot dogs.
Don't we all? Noah deGrasse Tyson is just sitting by himself. How hot dogs?
I'm just imagining Stephen Hawking's with this little talk box. How hot dogs? Makes
Meg's
having
broken.
a stroke.
Yeah.
How hot dogs?
Okay, now that I'm not dead, I'm still dying a little bit. Can we jump back to this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's.
Yeah.
No, I legit want to know, like, how do we get to boiled hot dogs versus, because I grew up on boiled hot dogs too.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, now I'm paying for that bullshit.
Yeah. Well,
I really want to talk about hot dogs. Is really what I'm
yeah.
getting at.
It's one of
That's
my
what I
favorite
think.
topics. Hot dogs, and then also just like the boiled heart.
Yeah.
That for some
it's great.
reason kind of looked a little tasty to me. Like I wanted to chop it up and put it in a taco.
It was probably a deer heart anyway.
Yeah, I'm
You
sure it
started
was.
thinking lingua?
Yeah, I started thinking lingua tacos
Yeah.
and got all excited.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, I don't know if I can continue.
Meg needs an IV. Get the paddles out.
I really want to talk about hot dogs for like 20 minutes there, but we are done. Because I'm done. I'm just gonna listen to Limp Bizkit on my way home. Yeah, so we already talked about, like, so with Haps like being like the last death, we basically now are moving on to the party.
Mhm.
And we're still having the drama between Axel and TJ, and
Which
like
is kind
they're
of like an
fighting.
intriguing. Actually, like
It
was pretty good.
It
Yeah.
wasn't terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it was fine, and it was just like interweave through it. And like that's what I was like having a hard time with, like wanting to talk about, where I'm like it bounced around so much. It's like there was so much drama. We at
Mhm.
least had this like motivating factor, because I think it aids in that, like, yeah, we know why Axel, like towards the end we understand why Axel wanted to do this killing, but like I think it adds to his dramatic effect to the film, and like it makes this even more intriguing. But
when they finally have the blowout fight at the party and start physically fighting, and Hollis just grabs them both like little children
Yeah.
and holds them by the heads,
yeah.
which was a great scene. But the best part, when he tells Axel to like go cool off or whatever, he goes outside, he grabs a beer, and I've never to this day seen a motherfucker open a beer like that. It was
I've already had an idea for
hero
a
level.
TikTok
yeah.
to like repeat that,
Because it was obviously a pull tab can, you
Right.
know. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah.
It wasn't a modern pop top can. It was a pull tab can.
but it was
But
a
he-
can and turn.
He
Yeah.
opened that beer like he was starting a weed whacker.
Yeah.
Like it was sick. I was like, God damn, bro, did you open that beer?
Hollis is
Yeah.
a hell of a dude.
Oh, yeah, Hollis
Hollis
is
is
a
a great
badass,
dude.
dude.
Yeah, but I still did. I feel like that's the only time I kind of was okay with
Axel,
Axel is
yeah.
when
Mhm.
he opened that can.
And then fucking
Then he went and
kicks
cried.
the door
then he
open,
cried.
and then he
went,
goes and cries like a bitch. In
he
the
like hits his head against
Yeah.
the wall. I'm like, you're a fucking child. Fucking you
Drink
big
your
old
beer.
baby.
Drink your beer, make you feel better, you little baby.
Yeah, so
Baby.
after this point, again, we're like
Go drink
getting
your beer,
intrigued. And I
baby
actually
diapers.
think this is when is the guy who got killed, who was like quote unquote the noob who got his heart boiled. Maybe his name
Yeah,
was
that was hot
Dave.
dog guy.
Yeah,
Was it
'cause
Dave?
he's in the fridge. Because then maybe
Yeah,
somebody
so-
opens the door and doesn't see him.
Right.
It's like in
But
the
I feel
background.
like his death is kind of humorous to me, because he walked in and he's like, I want these hot dogs now.
Yeah.
And he throws his tie around his neck. I've never seen someone get so close to hot dog flavored water.
You want to
It-
smell it. You want
besides
to smell the
Limp Bizkit,
essence of the
Yeah.
hot dogs.
Like, yeah, so he wants
They
it has
better
that-
not have dumped that hot dog broth.
I just want to.
They better
do
have
you
made
think
ramen
in the
with it.
80s that hot dogs were better or
Dude,
different?
I will have. Oh, probably. But I also will 100% like make. I usually not hot dogs, but like when I make like kielbasa or something like that, or whatever, or brats or whatever. Like, why do people immediately go like, oh, we're gonna throw that away? But meanwhile, we like spend hours making chicken stock.
Right.
That's some damn hot dog stock. Put some ramen in that.
Sausage stock.
I feel like you are so serious about this.
I'm dead ass serious.
Did you do that as a child? Like,
No, just it took me till my 30s to realize how valuable and delicious sausage stock is. Any meat boiled in liquid, that liquid's gonna taste good.
Yeah,
unless it's liver or something.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm kind of. I want to fall. Okay. I'm not gonna do it on my own.
Yeah.
I'm not. I can't say that I would. But I would definitely, if you made it, I would try it.
Do yourself a favor. Get some kielbasa's. Okay. Right. And
you have to get them like raw, or can you like
No, they're smoked. They're cured. They're already cooked. You can eat them cold if you want, but boil them to heat them through, and then you just hit them on the. It's kind of like when.
But then you take that water. That's the more important thing. Yeah. We were going after the ramen.
That's what I'm saying. So I've done this before. I do the old Wisconsin method of cooking brats, right? Which is you put some brats in a damn pan, on the back of the grill, where it's a little cooler. You put the brats in there. You chop up a couple onions, and then you pour a couple beers in there, and you just let them simmer away.
Okay.
And when they're cooked through, you take them off. You hit them on a super hot grill just to get the marks, and they're good, right? Mm-hmm. But that onion sausage juice, that's good as fuck.
Yeah. See,
right? Dude, you're changing my life right now.
I do something similar, but you don't get as much broth out of it. Mm. But I do sausages in a pan with water that's like maybe halfway up. Mm-hmm. Cook it down, and then once the water is evap, you get that little browning on the bottom.
Oh yeah,
and then you throw more broth.
The fawn on the pan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and then you throw a little more water in there to scrape it up, then that's when you throw in like your the sauerkraut.
Okay,
your
kraut. I want to have this piece of shit ramen night. Is what we're gonna call this. Called POS ramen night.
Yeah, we're gonna put pickled egg, like jarred pickled eggs in it instead of like the fancy 7-minute eggs.
I don't know why you want to call them like looking them down. Like I make pickled eggs all the time. Like this is my thing.
You're the first person in my life who I've ever heard use the word downly, and I do appreciate it. You're looking downly?
I don't even know. Downly? I have no words. No.
It's delicious. We'll crumble up some Fritos on top.
Mm-hmm. Fuck yeah. Doritos, maybe. Actually,
Corn Ranch Doritos.
Holy shit. We're going to have a hot dog ramen night.
Or we can make croutons out of hot dog buns.
Oh, there we go, bro.
Like that too.
But I feel like we should sprinkle them with some good seasoning.
Sure.
This is going off the
rails.
Also,
instead of like the pork belly, we just do like little fried pieces of Spam.
Yeah.
Actually, Spam being boiled might be better than hot dogs.
Love Spam. I'll eat Spam every fucking day.
I literally have I just had Spam for the first time this fall. Like
it's delicious.
Guys, we're too far into processed meat talk.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's great, but
it's a completely different episode.
I got to pull us back. We can dedicate a little bit of time every episode, but we can't make the whole episode.
Next episode, we never mention horror again.
Right. Next episode, how hot though?
That like our first live show, it needs to have like this like someone who kicks us is like shitty around.
Yeah, it's Steve.
The next. If we do a live episode, there will definitely be like a Weber grill on stage.
We're just gonna be making Spam the whole night.
Yeah.
Okay, where the fuck are we?
The mining gear is just about to drop, right? At this point, we're kind of in that 2/3 of the way through the movie.
Yeah, we are definitely. We're at the party where there's a lot of chaos going on, and we have other side stories where we have with John and Sylvia. They go off and do their whole
they're
slasher.
gonna go pork and
like they're trying, which I thought it was kind of cute and funny, or not like. Where she was like, you know what we need? And he's like, I got one. And thinking she just wants he's like, I got a condom. She's like, no, we need some more beers.
Oh, but yes, I will go get some more moosehead. You stay here.
Classic slasher trope. Whoever tells somebody to go get them a beer is dead.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. John didn't die. He demystified that fucking trick.
No, but she died. She's the one. She was PJ Souls.
Yeah.
Who said, go get me a beer.
Yeah.
To Bob.
Yeah. So
but Bob died too. But yeah, you get what I'm
Right.
saying.
yeah, so she basically gets stalked by the killer, and he turns on. I didn't really understand the scene fully as far as like why is there so much water? Why are these
That's
things
the shower
hanging?
room.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So so he turns on all the water. He starts dropping things, trying to fuck with her, and then kills her, and basically suspends her from one of these like clothes hanging things, and that's when John.
Yeah, he gives her the
basically-
old Leatherface routine,
Yeah.
puts her on. It's not a meat hook, but it is like
It's a water
hanging
pipe.
hook. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's a water pipe.
Yeah, because then he turns the water pipe on, and then the water is coming out of her mouth when John discovers her.
Yeah, and he's like,
Which is, I
freaking
think,
the
I
fuck
thought
out.
was a really cool reveal because they don't like show her all the way, but like they show her mouth like spewing water, and then there's like a half out of focus her in the foreground with like bloody water spewing out of her mouth, and John is like,
and
Yeah,
that
totally
that
traumatizing.
scene is actually, because this time I watched it, I think was the first time I watched the extended version, and that scene drags a little bit longer.
Little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so he then eventually goes back to the party. He's like freaking out, but at the same time, when he's getting back to the party, I didn't catch the name of the girl that came out because there's a lot of characters. She comes out, she discovers Dave's like body.
Isn't it
She's like freaking out.
Susan or something.
I don't know.
We could probably come up with some 80s name, and like,
Susan
maybe her
sounds
name's
right.
Kathy, Susan, or something like that. She comes freaking out. Like, oh my God, Dave's dead. And then John comes in and he's like, oh my God, Sylvia's dead. Like, we now know, like, this is where they come to this, like, has come to Jesus moment where, like, oh my God, Harry Warden is back. They, like, believe they believe this story is actually happening. So they're, like, TJ is like, we need to get everyone the fuck out of here.
that's
so,
what HAP is short for, happening.
Yes, of course.
That's what the bar is. I mean, yeah, something's happening. Yeah, so TJ gets everyone out of there, and at the same time, right before this scene, Sarah, Patty, Howard, and Hollis, and I feel like so that was also Matt and Harriet, or maybe her name
The
is
couple
somebody.
that gets drilled.
Yeah, the couple that gets like fucking killed. They all go into. They're like, we want to go to the mine. We want to like have fun and like party. So they don't know what the fuck's actually going on. So they had already left to go down in the mine. TJ wasn't for it. They fucking went, and they're like, we just want to go on this roller coaster ride. So
Which looks fun as fuck.
it does. I actually feel like
and then Hollis
I
is
think
your
we
like
experienced that at
tour guide and
Idlewild.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
You've probably been on it at Idlewild. I feel like the same idea. Yeah, totally. You've been on the ride. So they get everyone out of there, and Axel and TJ go into the mine to find everyone at this point. And they're, and the other crew, they do go back and find the sheriff, and they get the sheriff to come to the actual mine and whatnot. So while they're in the mine, we have Harriet and I think Dave. This couple, they go off and they go bang. They want to go fucking Mac, and that's fine. But like while they're going down there, they start realizing like they don't really know where they're going. They don't really know what to do, and then they're getting the actual killer is now stalking them. Which let's take it back it up for a second. So TJ and Axel go down into the mine together, and I don't know if they did a good scene where they separated. Because Axel would have had to go off somewhere.
Yeah, Axel fell down. Are we at the point where Axel falls into the water and they think he's dead?
No, we're not.
Okay.
No,
we're
she's
not,
just
we're not,
talking
wait.
about how does Axel separate from TJ
because,
when they go to
because
sleep.
like we have these scenes where we have the lights being like hit really hard by the quote unquote killer.
He's going and breaking the bulbs.
Yeah. So like we're at that point, but at the same time, anywho, we have these scenes where they're getting stalked in ways, and Hollis goes off to find the couple. He finds the couple dead. He then gets killed by the killer, and then Howard is kind of like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." Because basically, Hollis seemed to be dead, but maybe he was either thrown by the killer or like had enough willpower to get back to them and be like, "Oh, I'm dead."
Yeah, he dies in front of them after he gets shot with basically the
nail gun,
the musket equivalent of a nail gun. They have to load one at a time.
Yeah,
and he gets one in the temple, and then
so
right
Howard runs off, and he's kind of like, I'm the biggest bitch of you all, so I'm gonna go. And so now we have Patty and Sarah like trying to like figure shit out and like figure out where to go, and they start going off, and they're basically like, we're just gonna follow this route that we were told to follow, and they eventually run into TJ and Axel. Yeah, they run into both of them.
Yeah, they do. And then also this is where Patty gets the she gets offed.
Yeah, because it's not Sarah. So yeah, if it's
Yeah,
Patty.
no. I mean, we're trying to think. Like, I feel like that happens after
Axel goes over
like,
the
quote unquote
Yeah.
dies.
Yeah, he goes over the edge into like the super deep like
the 60-foot deep fucking
well or whatever.
Right.
And also TJ, it sounded like TJ got too hurt and like might have died too. So they keep going, and then she gets the axe
right after
stomach.
that, TJ is like, where things are doing good, and then Patty gets the old pickaxe in the gut and does the
she's
Jada
dead.
Pickett Smith routine.
Yeah. So Sarah then keeps going, and eventually TJ finds her, and well, actually, I think at this point we already saw Howard dead too. They find out that Howard's dead.
Yeah, that's
and
when
stuff
Howard falls and his head rips off.
Yeah, we're going a little bit around in circles right now, but it's fine.
I mean, it's kind of what it feels like. It feels like they're in a fun house type situation at this point,
which
right?
I feel like adds. I mean, even at the
a lot
time
of confusion.
and place,
They're kind of like lost.
It's kind of cool to like be able to talk through because I'm like there is so much like back and forth that you're just like I'm confused. But
This
I
was
think
not
that,
an
that
easy
adds.
movie to shoot. That's for
No.
sure.
It aids
So many
in, I think,
characters
the
and so many
effects.
like shit all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just continuity stuff, like yeah.
Yeah. So eventually, now we only have TJ and Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get the fuck out, but now they're being stalked by the killer. And again, we're assuming Axel's dead. We're assuming everyone's dead. Blah blah blah. They actually get onto the rail car and they get it going.
I
and
love
then,
that they're just like fuck them out.
Yeah.
I
"Piece
hate
fuck
that
out."
trope of like Howard. You know, he's like Howard. Do you think it's coincidental that Howard and coward rhyme together?
Yeah.
Because
Maybe.
he's the coward.
Yeah.
He runs
Yeah.
away. And
He does.
normally in the movie,
Yeah.
there's a trope of like the coward runs away and that everyone gets put in danger because of his act of cowardice.
Right.
He's kind of like the Scream, like Randy Scream.
Yeah, a little bit.
But Randy's not like that much of a coward, but he's kind of like that character.
Yeah,
You
but
know
there's
what I mean?
that trope of
Goofy.
like the buffoon guy who runs
Yeah.
away because he's scared and then puts everyone else in danger.
Yeah.
In this instance, Howard bails and they're like, oh, fuck that guy. And they just, they're like, we're leaving his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we know,
Yeah.
but also they know he's dead. So,
Yeah.
So
Well,
they're
even
going,
before they know he's dead, they bailed on
before
his
then.
ass.
Yeah, Patty and Sarah are like, never mind.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
but I still think it was because he bailed on them. He's like, no, I'm fucking going.
I know. I like
Yeah.
that, though, that they're just like, fuck that cat.
Yeah, so we have TJ and Sarah going up the rail car. We have the killer basically on the rail car trying to like going, which is honestly one of the worst like fighting scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah,
So slow.
it's a little like
so
Castlevania.
awkward.
It's clunky as hell.
8-bit Castlevania type of thing.
super awkward. I didn't like it, but it's fine. So they get to a certain point and they get off the car and they all end up in this side room, and it's like a danger, don't go in here zone, which I don't know if that had anything to do with like it was just like a room that was like that or had to do with like the previous
I think
like
they pointed
mining.
out, like, because when Hollis is giving the tour earlier, I think somebody asks about that side room, and he says that's the abandoned part. We don't go in there.
Yeah.
And it's tied to the original
I think
20-year
that's-
ago accident.
Yeah. I think
And it's
that's,
also, there's like beams made of like logs and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
seems like it's like really, really old. And,
So the fight scene there I think is good in that like it almost alludes that like all of them are going to get fucked up in some way because the pickaxe is like going into all these logs. They're like pulling down rocks and all of this shit. And eventually, we come to find out that in this scene that it's Axel that is the fucking killer. Axel is like this like TJ like, you know, nemesis of sorts. And we also find out that Axel's dad was one of the supervisors at the mine when it like 20 years ago when this original accident happened. So he's clearly like, I'm just trying to, which I was like, I guess I don't know the motivation besides like, he's like, why is he going after the town versus like Harry Warden?
So, okay, maybe this is something that's in our version, Brian, that maybe wasn't in yours, Meg.
Sure.
But he has a flashback to his dad being murdered
No, I
by
saw
Harry
it.
Warden.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they ask him, they're like, why are you doing this or whatever? And then he sees it in his brain, but they're not seeing that.
But, okay, so there's one specific
I-
shot I want to ask about, though.
Yeah.
That did ours had blood being sprayed on a baby?
I saw.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Did
saw
yours
the,
have
I,
that,
I
Meg?
saw the little like Axel as a child with
Okay.
blood all over his face. I didn't get the spurt
Yeah, okay.
on his face. So like clearly he's just now mentally unstable, and maybe this is like his
I
disintegration.
didn't know if you got
of that
the
or
full
something like that.
Dexter origin story of like of a child watching his father being murdered and sprayed in blood.
I kind of
didn't know if you
alluded
got
to that. I alluded because like the last scene of him underneath the bed is he has blood all over him. So he clearly like, he's trying to revenge his father. But the thing that I don't get is that like how does Harry Warden equate to going after the whole city?
I think it's just like by not keeping the memory of his father's death at this point.
Yeah.
Because
like he got triggered by they're going to celebrate Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. So it's like a new tragedy to him.
I almost even look at it like kind of like a Dexter thing where he's now just fucked up.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that too.
You know
yeah,
what
he's
I mean?
fucked
Like,
up because he
he's
saw
just
that
fucked
happen.
up. Like, so now he just wants to kill people because he saw his dad die.
yeah, he's fucked up.
So there's
but
not
it's
even actually a revenge factor to it. It's just a matter of like he maybe thinks there's a revenge factor, but there's
but like it's
not.
been built up in his head so much over the decades. And,
Yeah, it's such a thing that weighs on him, and it's a new tragedy to him because Harry's tragedy was being trapped in the mine, having to eat people. Now Axel's tragedy is like his dad was murdered by Harry.
Is that what actually happened? Is that he ate them? Is that what they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like the backstory I got, but I didn't really. I thought like the other people just died, and I didn't realize that actually was literally that.
No,
he
there was
ate
the scene
them.
when I was saying about he ate corn on the cob. He's literally gnawing on a forearm.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have missed that. I don't know.
Maybe
if I
you didn't
missed
have that in your version.
Maybe I didn't
Could
have that in
be,
my
could have
version
been.
either.
Yeah, because I didn't remember that scene the last time I saw it either.
Yeah.
He's literally he has one of the miner's forearms and he's gnawing on it.
It was brutal. It reminded me very quickly of I don't know if either of you have seen Anthropophagus.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, and it's just like a very similar thing where like he's eating his own guts and he's wide-eyed and just like,
that's
Jesus
what I'm saying.
Christ.
He had that look of like Renfield in the in the hull of the ship.
Yeah. So the only thing I want to touch on is so in this scene, all the rocks, like the whole thing collapses on him. But the last scene, once all like the police people like come in, and he clearly his arm gets ripped off. You clearly see that.
Well, it doesn't get ripped off. It's pinned.
Yeah.
So it's pinned under a thing, and then Sarah goes up and like touches his hand, and he grabs her. And then they cut inside the rubble, and he's cutting his own arm off.
Okay,
yeah.
Mine did not have that because all I saw was his hand moving, and then like the next scene being like he's like now just like.
No. They cut to the inside, and he's in there sawing his own arm off.
That's fucking
He lured her
crazy.
in, and then like, cause I think she was going for the ring on his hand or whatever.
Oh, maybe I didn't.
Really?
There was like a ring on his hand
I saw
that like seemed to lure her in or whatever. But then
she just seemed to like want to go. She's like, I want to see him.
Yeah.
Which
that's
I don't know.
how I took it, but I didn't even notice the ring.
Yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. But yeah, I thought that last scene of him doing like the cackling and stuff was creepy as fuck.
Oh yeah,
it was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, he cut his own arm off and says, "I'll see you in hell."
He goes full supervillain.
Yeah. Like so. All right, so that's the movie, guys.
Yeah.
So,
No, you forgot
fun.
a very important part.
Wait, what did I forget?
The end credit song.
Did you hear it?
I don't know. Maybe I
There
should
is a song at the end that is about the plight of Harry Warden.
Okay.
And it is done very much in the theme or in the style of
It is a parody, more or less,
of Gordon Lightfoot's
the Wreck of the Edmund
Fitzgerald.
Nice.
It is.
Okay.
It fucking rules.
Yeah, it's actually like a pretty good song.
It's a pretty good song, and because it's so much like the original Gordon Lightfoot song, but yeah, there's just like verses of him like, and the townsfolk never forgot that day when Harry Warden died. And it's like, Jesus.
It's a very folksy singer-songwriter type of.
I'm kind of surprised though because I feel like we talked about this before.
What if they went
that,
just like
it should have been all in country?
Rap. They were like, and Harry came back on the 14th of February. Like just did like a shitty rap.
I just would have felt like it would have been more appropriate with like a country song or something like that. But still the same like vibe.
Sure.
It was a little folksy. It was definitely biting Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah, it was definitely that working class. This is what the working class listens to while they're drinking in a pub.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's fine. Cool.
Yep.
Well,
Guys.
that is My Bloody Valentine. We have completed it. I think this stands up there because there was all those movies after Halloween that just bit on the holiday shit, like April Fool's Day and all that stuff. Most of them are fucking terrible, or at least just goofy fun.
Yeah.
This gets, I think, glommed in with them because it's just like another holiday movie,
right?
But it's actually really good.
No, and I think it like stands alone in its own way. Like,
it stands alone, it stands up. But then, like Brian was saying, you have things if you're looking at the shelf and you see My Bloody Valentine and April Fool's Day at the same time, you're just kind of like, what? And then, you know,
they're both Halloween ripoffs.
Yeah. How do I differentiate between which one's good and which one's trash?
Yeah.
April Fool's Day, don't get me wrong, fun movie. It's fucking terrible.
Right.
This is actually a pretty darn good movie.
Yeah.
Well acted, well written, well shot.
Yeah.
Great practical effects. Did you talk about the practical effects person?
We didn't talk about that, but like we were talking before we started the show, and Brian was asking like if it was Tom Savini. It wasn't. It's just like it's somebody that we don't really know and like remember a lot of. But it's this guy Thomas Berman. And then like it was like a team of 4 to 6 people. Yeah. But like I looked at all of them, they all had like pretty long sustaining careers. Yeah. Nice. But this guy Thomas Berman, he's kind of the lead on this film, and then he got started early. He was like an assistant on the original Planet of the Apes. He did like the body Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yeah. Okay. So like the dog head, like that's his shit.
The 88 Body Snatchers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 78 Body Snatchers.
Well, no, he did both. He was on both. Yeah, because there's 78 Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yeah. Then there's Body Snatchers from the 80s or 90s. He did both.
But I meant, I was thinking of the 78 one when he said that, which is one of my...
The Doghead one is from 78. Yeah. He also did Halloween 3. He was on Scrooged. So, like, he has a huge list of accomplishments that he's been on, and then just, like, in his later years, did a lot of the CSI and Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. So he went... Like, he started out in horror and stuck with practical effects, but moved into other genres. Yeah. Which is kind of cool. Yeah. That's probably why he's not thought of as, like, you know, with the Savinis and, you know, Modines and all this stuff of the world, right?
Yeah. But I'm sure there's plenty of Thomas Berman fans out there.
I'm sure.
And then just, like, the other guys that worked on the film with him also, like, touched a lot of horror and did stuff, well past the 80s. So.
That out.
Okay. Yep. Fun flick. We have done it. We have we've passed one of our rights as a horror podcast. We don't know what we're doing next week yet.
We're finally in detail.
Yeah, we're not 100% sure on that yet, but we do have a fun guest coming up, which should be super cool. As always, if you haven't already, go follow us on the social medias. Give us some suggestions, because we've got some things planned, but we also got some gaps in there that we're looking for suggestions on, and we will absolutely take those into consideration. Follow us over on the social medias, and slide into the old DMs or comment on something if you have any suggestions. And as always, guys, I'm getting a little low on the stickies, but if you send me a DM or if you review us, you don't have to review us, but if you want to, that would be very nice of you.
Please do. It helps.
Yeah, it would be very nice of you. On the Apple Podcast or on Spotify or something. Screenshot it, send in a little DM, and I'll send you some dang stickers as well. But I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day, folks, for the Halloween is Forever crew. I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm Steve.
Hey, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Be my Valentine.